Hey guys, as you probably know, there's a pretty important race for the mayor of New York City. But one thing you probably don't know, that one of those candidates had a run-in with the mob years ago. And it involves John Gotti Jr. himself. That man is Curtis Sliwa. And today I'm going to tell you the story. First, let me lay the groundwork. Curtis Sliwa was born on March 26, 1954 in Canarsie, Brooklyn. He grew up during the height of the American Mafia, back when the five families were unstoppable. He had always had a distaste for any type of criminal activity. As a young adult, his distaste grew.
And turn that into a jail because you're going to be loading it up with guardian angels. We are going to fight for the streets of New York City.
Street gangs like the Black Spades, the Savage Skulls, and Seven Immortals started becoming much more prominent in the criminal underworld. And as the crime rose, there was one place that became notoriously dangerous: the New York subways.
The subway service is very bad.
Subways.
It wasn't always the best, but again, it always wasn't the worst. But I don't think it was as bad as it is now. It was never that bad. For a while, that's what he was doing. Trying to be on the trains, clean up the city, clean up the trains. I think he was a fake with his red bandana on his head, and try to make a name for himself. And he did make a name for himself as a loud-mouthed asshole who just bothered everybody. Some people say it was a good thing. He was a media freak. He wanted attention. It's not his job to get rid of crime. If he really wanted to clean up crime, go get a job as a cop and clean up crime. But he was more interested in media attention. It was always cameras or always something around him when something happened. And more than likely, 99%, they were his cameras. His guys filming this bullshit. The more of a pain in the ass he was, his name grew. And then he fucked with the mob, and he fucked with John Gotti, and fucked with John Gotti's family. And this is what happened to him. Eventually, Curtis became so frustrated with the New York police and their lack of action that he decided to take matters into his own hands. And in May of 1977, he created a very controversial vigilante group called the Magnificent 13, which would later become the Guardian Angels.
We are going to do what we can to curb this violent crime that is on a continuous rampage throughout the system. But remember, you're not dealing with a logical mind out there. You're dealing with an individual who's very basic, who only knows two things: rip off or be ripped off.
Old ladies, old people, they came and sit next to us and they start talking to us. And they say, oh, I'm glad you're doing this. Can I have an address or a telephone number that I can call to back you up? Telling people that you're doing good work.
When they do join, do they understand the danger, the possibility that there could be personal danger for them involved?
Quite so. Remember, these are street people. They are from the streets of New York City. Some are from middle-class areas. Some are from very low, impoverished areas. Yet, street logic tells you, to go and try to deal with people that carry guns and knives without you yourself having a weapon is insanity.
Who the fuck are you? What are you, a judge and jury and a cop? You're everything rolled up into one? You making these decisions? You see a couple of black guys standing there, for you, they're criminals right away? And you want to get your people and fuck with them and save people? Who are you? Now, I'm sure some people saw them, heard these things that he was doing, and felt a little safer, a little better. Anybody who's a woman, an older person would say, oh, good, the kids are trying to help us. It's a normal reaction. But I don't know what's going through his fucking mind. He's creating could be creating a problem, looking for problems, looking for things that are not even there.
Problems that are not even there? Are you kidding me? Sammy the Bull. Now, there's a guy we should be taking moral guidance from. A career criminal complaining about a vigilante. You cannot make this stuff up. This conniving little fucker literally tried to pull every reverse psychology argument all crooks and sociopaths use to paint the hero as the villain. Sammy says, "Who are you? Are you a judge? Become a cop if you want to stop crime." Sliwa just wanted attention and yada yada yada. All the while, Mr. Sammy Gravano was kidnapping, mugging, extorting, and shooting people in the back of the head, and is now all over YouTube profiting from it via storytelling. Again, you can't make this stuff up. All up on the internet, making movies, TV specials, and docuseries and shit. It's like, who the fuck are you all of a sudden? Steven Spielberg? Get the fuck out of here. This guy literally has a bona fide issue with the fact that the Guardian Angels allegedly had cameras. Can you believe it? Like, how dare they? Right? How dare those meddlesome Guardian Angels bring cameras for evidence when catching criminals in the act? How dare they show themselves on TV to let the public know that they're here to help? How dare they intervene as an old lady is getting her purse snatched by two thugs fresh out of Rikers Island? Damn those Guardian Angels. Give me a break. If the Guardian Angels go public, he says they want attention. If the Guardian Angels conceal their identities, he'll say, what do they have to hide? This little weasel has been using the same topsy-turvy logic to throw people under the bus his entire life. This asshole even tried to pull the race card, saying Sliwa was unjustly targeting blacks, trying to insinuate that Sliwa is a racist, which is completely ridiculous because most of the original Guardian Angels were black and Hispanic. The truth of the matter is, the reason the Guardian Angels came to life was because the police were not doing their job. Largely because many of them were also crooks, which would make joining the police force counterproductive to anyone who actually wanted to help combat the crime, since so many police didn't give a fuck about serving and protecting. So of course Gravano believes New York City was better back in the day, because he's a lifelong criminal and there were no fucking rules back then. 1970s, all the way up to 1990s, New York City was a criminal's paradise. If you were a roughneck hooligan or a shifty swindler of any sort, old school New York City was the place to be. Dark, eerie streets, sprawling abandoned buildings, no cameras around, city decay, constant blackouts, you name it. Granted, New York City is by no means perfect these days, but the crime in today's New York does not compare to the crime that once haunted the Big Apple. Sammy the Bull. More like Sammy the Bullshit. That video from Old Sam I Am was 30 minutes long, but I stopped listening to that garbage at the 7-minute mark. Because no career criminal psychopath will use Machiavellian manipulation to convince me that Curtis Sliwa and the Guardian Angels were anything but heroes during a time when New York City was a literal fucking zoo. You didn't have to look for trouble back in those days because trouble was always looking for you, especially in those notorious New York City subways. Ask any regular civilian who wasn't lurking around trying to rob, stab, or sexually assault unassuming passers-by, and they will all tell you that the Guardian Angel's presence was a blessing. Only grimy, slimy, conniving, two-faced weasel career criminal psychopath thugs will say otherwise. Long live Curtis Sliwa, and long live Rudy Giuliani. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. Until then, catch you later.